Hello and welcome to another Vinny Talks Yanks. I'm your host Vincent LaRose, and today the Yankees are able to pick up a really big series win to open the second half of the season. They're able to continue to win every day the Blue Jays win, staying 3 games back, and just a good all-around series. I know it was a tough start, but it was a good comeback in Game 2 and a good finish to finish it off going into Toronto. A huge series, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But let's start it, as always, with today in Yankees history. So today in New York Yankees history, on this day in 1965, Yankees pitcher Mel Stoudemire hits an inside-the-park grand slam against the Red Sox in a complete game, 6-3 Red Sox, or 6-3 victory. Crazy thing I saw today, as you know, I look at today in Yankees history a lot for all these videos, of course, and that one caught my eye the most. I didn't know he did that, which I thought was pretty cool. Inside the park grand slam is an interesting way to get one, especially being a pitcher. I know pitchers hit a lot more often back then, but really cool today in Yankees history. So that's pretty good. But now we'll get into the injury updates. So Max Fried with a blister on his pointer finger on his throwing hand. He's expected to start Wednesday, so there shouldn't be any further issues, at least from now until Wednesday. Cam Schlittler, he was dealing with a sore right bicep. He's expected to start Tuesday against the Blue Jays, so hopefully no more issues there. Luis Hill threw 3 1/3 in his last outing in Scranton. He's expected to make another rehab start on July 23rd, and then at that point the Yankees will make a decision whether they call him up or give him one more start down the minors. I think he's expected to throw 65 pitches in that start, so probably if they activate him, we'll see like 75 at max, I would say. Yerly De Los Santos, a guy we haven't heard about in a little bit. He begins his rehab assignment in AA. Ryan Yarbrough continues to throw, but has not thrown on a mound. His rehab is going to be a little bit longer than anticipated. The oblique is not healing as fast as they would have expected, and he's working to get built back up. Leiter Jr., he threw in Atlanta, and he's expected to throw a bullpen in Toronto, and then will go for the imaging after that. And then Cruz continues to throw, Fernando Cruz, and there's no timetable on his return, as the Yankees are trying to take him slowly as well. And then a couple roster moves. Garcia is DFA'd. Beaters brought back up. Blah blah. Just some bullpen play. Nothing really crazy though. But we'll get right into Game 1. So the Yankees would to start the second half would decide to start with an opener, as a couple unexpected bumps or maybe injuries, I guess you could call, with Schlittler and Fried to start the second half. They would decide to go with Ian Hamilton, and he would struggle. He'd throw 1 inning, he'd give up 3 hits and 3 runs with 1 walk. Not a great start, especially to the second half. Not the start we wanted, but the offense would also not be great. They would be mostly quiet. They weren't able to score a run until the 7th inning, and with a Stanton RBI double, 2 RBI double, and then Belly would follow him with an RBI single, and that would end the scoring for the day. We scored 3 runs in the 7th. Obviously, since it's an opener, the bullpen would have a lot of work to do. Hamilton, starting with Hamilton, of course, and then going with Garcia. Garcia goes 2 2/3. Giving up 3 hits, 3 runs on 2 walks and 2 strikeouts, and then would be released after the game. Efros would follow that, going inning and a third, giving up 3 hits and 1 run, and then Brubaker would finish. That's right, yeah, and then Brubaker would finish the game, going 3 no-hit innings, giving up 1 walk and nothing else, and that would end the Yankees' 3-7 loss. So not the way we want to start the second half, of course. A brutal start. I think it was a little bit of a weird situation. Boone was asked why they didn't bring anybody up, and I think basically what he said, the idea was Schlittler and Fried's injuries weren't going to land them on the IL. They didn't want to bring Schlittler down to bring him right back up, so I don't know if they made the right decision, truthfully, but we'll never know, I guess. So we'll get right into game 2 then. Warren would take the mound, and he would cruise through the first 3.2 innings, but then absolutely fall apart. He ends up giving up 5 hits on 5 runs, 5 hits, 5 runs on 3 walks and 5 strikeouts. Warren just cannot avoid the big inning. He has an issue with that. It's just he just falls, he just loses it, gives up a couple hits, walks a couple guys, and then he's basically done. He threw 40 pitches and only got 2 outs, a little over 40 pitches and only got 2 outs. But thankfully, his offense would pick him up. They would decide to pick up poor pitching, and they come back down from 5 2 times. At 2 points in that game, they were down by 5 runs. Starting with a Volpe 2-run homer in the 5th. And then Jazz would follow that with an RBI single in the 6th, making it 7-3. And then Trent Grisham would hit into an RBI fielder choice. Then Volpe would hit a sac fly in the 6th, making it 5-7. Wells would follow that with an RBI fielder choice of his own. And then Bellinger would hit a solo shot in the 7th to bring the Yankees within 1. That being 8-7 at the time, and then Volpe would hit his second of the game, his first multi-homer game of his career. He would tie it with a solo shot, making it 8-8. Very clutch, very great timing. I was very happy to see Volpe do that. I was already ready to make a really bad video about Volpe. He did enough to hold it off for a little bit. Probably will come sometime soon if he doesn't pick it up, but we shall see. And then Grisham, of course, in the 9th would hit that clutch go-ahead grand slam. I think everybody watching the game was screaming. I got a couple people on TikTok. A guy added me, and a lot of people were talking about it. Dude lives in Atlanta. He was saying it was really cool to watch, and he sent me a video. They were all screaming and stuff. So that's all the Yankees fans down there were going crazy. So that was a really cool video to watch, and I appreciate him sending me that. That was really cool. But the bullpen would go in, have to do major work in back-to-back days, as Warren struggles, of course. Starting with Hill, he goes 1 inning, giving up 1 run. Then Efros would come in and give up a run of his own, and then give up a run and a hit. Sorry, my notes were a little weird right there. And then Loizaco would also give up a run in one inning. He was gonna give up way more runs, but Weaver comes in and saves him. He gets out of a huge bases-loaded jam, keeping us in the game. And then he would go 1 and 2 innings of scoreless pitching. He'd get the win for the game, and then Williams would come in up by 4. Forgets that even if he does give up a run, it's still not considered a save. He gives up a home run to... does he give up a home run? I think he did. I didn't watch the end of that game. Yes, I did. I don't know how he gave up the run, but he gives up a run, and it doesn't matter. Gets the 3 outs. Yankees win 12-9. A hard-fought, really good victory. I was getting a little bit of flashbacks in Toronto when we were down by 9, when Judge hit his game-tying home run. Really thinking we'd come back, and of course, ending up losing that game as we got swept in that series. But I was really hoping that wasn't going to happen. After Jazz's hit to third, he hit an absolute missile to the third baseman. He makes I think his name is Nacho Alvarez Jr. Great name. He makes an insane jumpy catch. You could literally see Goldschmidt had his hands on his head, and he tilts his head back. It's just like, it seemed almost like the Yankees could just not catch a break. But it does not matter, because Grisham comes up in the clutch hitting that grand slam, which was really cool. And, getting the Yankees a really big comeback win. So, it was really nice to see. But Marcus Stroman would take the mound in we'll get into Game 3, sorry. Marcus Stroman take the mound in the rubber game of the series. He'd go one of his better starts of the season, actually. He goes 6 innings, giving up 5 hits, 1 run, and a very much needed lengthy start. Not super lengthy, it's only 6 innings, but good enough to just pick up the bullpen a little bit. And as he picks up 4 strikeouts, sorry, the offense would do just enough, I should say. Starting with Judge in the first inning, he hits his 36th home run, giving the Yankees a 1-0 lead. Then Goldie would follow that with an RBI single in the first. And then in the 6th, Goldie would score on a Jorbit Vivas hit by pitch with the bases loaded. Then in the 7th, Jazz would hit an RBI double, driving Judge in, making it 4-1 at that point. Then the bullpen would come in after Stroman. Hamilton throws a scoreless inning. Hill would come in and do the same, and then Williams would come in, and this time it's a save situation, but still decides to give up a run, giving up a home run to Acuna, but at the end of the day, gets 3 outs. That's all I care about, and he would finish off the Yankees 4-2 win and series win. Very big series win here. It was very important to get the series win. Toronto continues to stay hot. They actually swept the Giants out in San Francisco, so, you know, we got to go back into Toronto this week, so it was very important to get this win and keep us within, I think we're it's either 3 games or 3.5 games. I'm not 100% sure. Let me see. I already got the MLB app open. Real quick. Oh my god, I got 30 tabs open. Yeah, so it keeps us within 3 games, and a sweep would tie us back. Well, they would, I don't think they'd get the tiebreaker. I think Toronto's, so Toronto would have 5 wins, and then we would have, no, they'd have 6 wins, we'd have 5, so they'd have the tiebreaker, so they'd still be in first place. But a couple notes from this series. I know Volpe didn't go crazy, but it's enough to note about. He'd finally get it somewhat going. He went 3 for 11 this series with 2 homers, a walk, and 4 RBIs. Nothing crazy, but it seems like he's getting on the right track. I really hope Volpe can figure it out. He just continues to be a below-average league hitter, and like his defense really hasn't been picking him up as much as it's not really so much of an excuse. Well, he plays good defense anymore, but it is what it is. And then Hamilton, I know he throws a scoreless inning today, he still is struggling. He has a 3.99 ERA on the season, and a 6.43 in his last 7. He continues to struggle. Warren struggles in another start. He's now a 4.91 ERA, 4.91, not 49. That would be crazy. But he's now at a 4.91 ERA. He's still, like I said before, he's just unable to avoid the big innings. He cannot just get outs when needed. I know last series, his last start, he struggled a little bit in the first inning, but he only gave up one run in 5 1/3 innings. But like I said, he can't just get away from that big inning. It seems like every other start he's just giving up a lot of runs. He has one really good start, one really bad start. So, you know, he's a rookie though. So, and then some big news in Yankees history: Judge passes A-Rod on the all-time Yankees home run list. He hits his 351st today. Really cool milestone. Get A-Rod out of there. I know some of you guys don't care he cheated. I care that he cheated. Nah, I don't really care. But it's still a cool milestone. Judge passes A-Rod. He also hit another first-inning home run, which I'm actually quite curious how many he has now, because I feel like he hits a lot of first-inning home runs. But as we all know, before we get to this, Jonathan Loaisiga, I posted a video about this the other day, a little short video. I do not understand why they keep throwing this man more than 1 inning. Every single time. I get the first, I think he threw a couple in game 1, and I understand that one a little bit because we have we had an opener. No, he doesn't even go game 1. So he threw multiple. They tried to get him to throw multiple innings in game 2. I know the bullpen was used a lot this series, but it's just like every single time this season I see this guy in the second inning, he struggles. He can't find the zone. His sinker stops sinking. It kind of just literally tails into the bat. I know that's not really how it goes, but still, it's a struggle, and it's really annoying, truthfully, to see him go out for the second inning every single time. It's an absolute nightmare. But I have a short video on that if you guys want to get into like the statistical details on that. But anyways, to finish off the video, as we all know, Yankees are going into Toronto tomorrow. This is the biggest series of the season, a very important one. Thankfully, we got some good guys on the mound. Rodon gets game 1, Schlittler gets game 2, and then Fried to finish off the series in game 3. We really, I don't think we're gonna pick the sweep up. I really need to pick up 2 out of 3. Next series will be back in Yankee Stadium, so we'll get to finish the season series at home at least against the Blue Jays. But Yankees got to pick up some ground, even if they just can't lose. Losing 2 games this series is going to put us 4 out. Obviously, losing all 3 would put us 5 out. So I think we get 2 out of 3, gain another game on them. That would really, really help us. You know, the Blue Jays are actually going into Detroit after us. I believe it's Detroit. Let me just I want to be 100% sure. But like I said, like the Blue Jays are they're going. Really, is it not going to show me the Blue Jays now? Sorry. So they play us, and then they go into Detroit for 4. So it's really important if we can get a game on them this series. I know we're going against the Phillies after an off day on Thursday, which is obviously a tough squad, but we really, really, really need to pick up 2 out of 3 this series. And I'm confident. I feel like we're on a good enough roll, and it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I hope it's not an issue, of course, because we really need to win. But it's been really fun covering this team. Yesterday's game just, kind of brought some life back into me. After game one was just really hard to watch. Questionable decision making, and just Vivas with his just absolutely blunder base running. The team just continues to look strange, but after these last 2 days, they brought a little bit of confidence back into me. But, we still need to pick up some pitching. We really should go pick up Suarez if we can. If we can't, we need a third baseman. Because, oh my God, Vivas and Peraza's numbers are awful. I know they play good defense, but they're so bad at the plate. They're almost an automatic out every single time. They're both hitting sub 200. It's really hard to watch them swing a baseball bat. So hopefully we pick up a third baseman. Hopefully we get another guy in the bullpen. Another 2 guys I would want. And maybe 1 or 2 starters. But, that's where I'm going to end it today. So since now we're kind of in like the trade season, I know it's not super, super hot right now, but a couple trades have been made. I believe next week is the trade deadline, the 31st, next Thursday. So, of course, we have the series against the Blue Jays and then the Phillies. If there's any trades or anything like that, I'm going to try my absolute best. It probably will just be a quick, maybe 5 to 10 minute video, but to talk about the trade, talk about what it means for the team and whether it helps or hurts us. So, but that's all I got. So if you guys are interested in paying attention to any of that, make sure you turn notifications on. Subscribe too if you would like. I really appreciate anybody who subscribes and continues to follow my channel. It's been a lot of fun making these videos, and I hope I can continue making these videos as the season goes on. But that's all I got for today. Yankees pick up the series win. Beautiful. Great way to end the weekend. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day, night, morning, whenever you're listening to this. And go Yankees!